Alrighty, I see a few more participants coming in now, so we'll get started. So my name's Marty from Birchal. Welcome again, everyone. Like I said, tonight we're going to be talking about the Netura Group's offer on Birchal. We have 3 members from their team here. Before I introduce them and talk about the structure of the webinar, I just want to acknowledge that at least for Birchal, I know everyone's joining from around the country and overseas, but at least for Birchal, we're meeting today on the land of the Wurundjeri people. And I just want to pay respects to their elders past and present. So tonight, Netura, we're going to be talking to the team members from them. Basically, the structure of the webinar is we're going to have about a 20-minute presentation at the start, which will give you a bit more context into this offer and a bit more information about the company and the brands behind it. And then we're going to have about 20 or 30 minutes for questions at the end. So during the webinar, at any time, if you have a question, feel free just to pop it into the discussion panel. You don't have to wait till the end. And then at the end, we'll go through all those questions one by one. So now I'll just introduce the team from Netura, starting off with Joe Dale. So Joe Dale is the head of Itchy Baby Co, which is one of the 2 brands that Netura has in its portfolio at the moment. We also have Peter Harford joining, who is a chairman and advisor, and he's also standing in from Lauren, who is the head of Better Nature. And finally, we have Oliver Hoare, who is the CEO of Netura Group. I'm going to chuck it over to Oliver now, who has a presentation to run through, and then we'll take it from there.
Thanks so much, Mark. Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Good morning, wherever you may happen to be. About to share my screen as follows. And I'm assuming everyone can see that okay. You guys live will tell me now if you can see that okay.
It's all good.
Everyone can see that fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, all good, Ollie.
Okay, great. Okay, so welcome to everyone who's attending the webinar today. It's a Netura and Birchal webinar. It's for potential investors. Obviously, today's date and presented by myself. So we're here to talk about Netura and what Netura is. Netura essentially is an umbrella company that's split into 2 subsidiaries at present: Itchy Baby Co and Better Nature. Netura acquires and develops innovative startup healthcare brands aligned with our identity. And we're 100% naturally sourced, Australian-made, evidence-based, sustainable, and quality by design. And we'll talk about that element a bit later on. So Netura is made up of these 2 constituent parts. And as an overview, what kind of foundation does Netura sit on? What's this whole investment based on? Well, Netura has been in existence since 2020. It's a progressive investors, it's a group of progressive investors, I should say, and progressive global team. And it's all about enabling better lives through natural healthcare products. Netura is 2 sub-brands currently, as we mentioned, Itchy Baby Co and Better Nature. And we'll go through each one of those individually shortly. But to start with, from a Netura point of view, as the driving engine room of our 2 subsidiaries and more to come in future, our vision is to be the most progressive, forward-thinking and agile external healthcare portfolio. So external being obviously not internal to the body, but external, skin-based, scalp and so forth, anywhere. That's our long-term vision. Our mission is to serve our internal and external customers, subsidiaries and stakeholders through a package of best practice policy, philosophy, process and practice. And our values are that we want to be available. So the group products want to be for sale in every country within 5 years. We want to be sustainable, 100% naturally sourced, vegan, recycled and organic. In some of those elements, we're already 100%. Others, we're on a journey, but we will strive to be achieving that fully across the organization. We're dynamic. Extension, reinvention, core development, continuous improvement and growth. We're a company that's looking for growth, both from a channel point of view, but from a line and product extension, and then potentially brand extension under Netura. We're philanthropic, so we're educational, charitable and personable, creating internal and external customer service journeys and next generation customer service. You've got to care to do that, and so philanthropy for us is very high. And best practice, we believe that great policy, philosophy, process and practice equals profit in the shorter and longer term. So what about the future of Netura? That's what we're built on. Now, what about looking forward? Well, we're exciting, dynamic, capable, and repeatable, the key elements, obviously, of scalability. And we'll do that through coherent, cohesive, and consistent action. So we're an organized group and a capable group to be able to repeat our business. Because we're an organized scale up and the market prognosis is strong, according to McKinsey, 1.5 trillion market that we're involved with on a global basis, and also that we're looking at the complete value chain across the business. We're not having a go. We're qualified to do what we're doing. We think that provides a very high growth opportunity. We're on message. It's an Australian brand. It's 100% natural origin. As I mentioned, vegan, green, recycled, and sustainable credentials. We've got our asset in order to complete that value chain. We've got our asset grouped together. We have a considerable market, as mentioned. We have great products already with a track record. The team is set and capable. We don't have any holes, any gaps in that. Structure and process we're particularly strong on. We're already operating down omni-channels and more to come. We have a strong marketing offering, and that creates a unique value proposition altogether that has to and is proving to provide opportunity. We've got good forms. We've got a good track record already. Metcash Boots is in the pipeline and close to completion. Amazon, we have trading already in the second Amazon account in Europe weeks away, along with Perth Pharmacy, Health Post, and an array of others, which I'll come to a bit later on. So this is not a punt. We have track record and strong track record at that. So let's look now, let's filter down to one of the two subsidiary companies, and let's have a look at that as a case study. Much the same structure. So Itchy Baby Company. We understand itchy, dry, and sensitive baby skin. That's our core competence, is what we do. We're an evidence-based skincare solution backed by 100% naturally sourced and scientific proven ingredients. And let's look at the foundations of that individual subsidiary company. So Itchy Baby Company has existed since 2014. We acquired it in 2019. It's homegrown. It's a founder expert. So it was founded by Julia, who was a pharmacist and a mum, had that particular issue with her child, and went after creating a product that was based on simplicity and organic ingredients. We're now a dedicated growing team serving parents' needs and child skin issues. Our vision is safe, effective, and trusted global child skincare, market leader backed by quality, knowledge, and science. Every door, store, bag, and bathroom should have our product, and it's the brand that everyone turns to. That's how we view ourselves as an horizon. In terms of mission, we provide world-class 100% natural infant skincare knowledge and solutions. And that knowledge piece is important to us from a brand depth point of view. We're honest, transparent, and positive product journeys that we offer honest, transparent, and positive product journeys that are eco-aware and sustainable. And our mission is to create a happier family. The knock-on effect of these issues, skin issues for children, for parents, is lost sleep, late nights, and so we're there literally to help create a happier family. Nothing less than that will do. We're caring in terms of values. A solution for the customer is, as far as we're concerned, our performance defined. That's the very heart and core of what we do. We're innovative. We innovate to solve with coherence, consistency, and cohesion, as mentioned. We're nurturing. We create a value journey not only with the customers but also with staff and partners alike. We're all about the partnerships. That's key for us. We're knowledgeable. We're a community of support, understanding, and information. It's not just a product, but it's a place where people can come and really engage with our community. And we're trustworthy. Your child is precious, and our aim in the marketplace is that nobody else is more authentic than us about the issues that we help you solve. For the future, we're scalable. We've got track record. We're operating. We have a new deal with IGA that's provided us with 200 plus stores that recently came live, which we're delighted about. And we're forecasting a total of 2,000 doors globally by the end of financial year 23. So we have a realistic but aggressive growth plan. The UK launch happened financial year 22. The team assets are in place. Pipeline fill has been happening since then. Amazon Boots about to go live, and we've got a host of other targets that we've acquired. We're on message, as I say, 100% natural, vegan, sustainable. And our scientific unique selling points and value propositions are based around this evidence of efficacy and safety. So we're a very scientific product, and we've got great science and natural science at the heart of what we do. And also we drive what we call early intervention. I'm not going to go into too much detail from an IP point of view, but this is what sets us very much aside from our competitors, and happy to go offline into much more detail about what does set us aside. All of that is a major opportunity in UK and Europe, and our competitors are very late to the party here, which means we can lead that, and there's nothing better than being first. In terms of assets, for the Itchy Baby team, we have all our IP requirements in place and compliance, by the way, too. We have the team, office distribution, Salesforce, marketing, social media, and digital. They're all now operational. So in terms of covering that value chain, we are good. In terms of track record, online is gaining traction. Marketplaces are already running within the UK. Amazon UK will be our second Amazon account. And as I mentioned, Boots nearing completion, so the pipeline is very strong. In Australia, we've got the IGA deal that we wanted, which is fantastic. Coles and Woolworths are in the pipeline, as is Spar, and there are others to come. But we also have a strong product pipeline. So in terms of product development and line extensions, we've Sun Cream just launched and doing extremely well on the market. We've got the Nappy Cream waiting in the wings, and others down the line. Registrations are all set for expansion to new territories. EU registrations are complete. FDA registrations are in final stage. So in terms of global expansion, we're making sure that the groundwork is laid from a compliance point of view before we move on. So I just wanted to give you a tidbit of some Itchy Baby performance, something over the last few months that's caught me by pleasant surprise. We've seen significant, strong recent online growth in the past 3 months, for example. Australia online's grown 840% in the past 3 months. I've flattened out the curve here, but it's an average of 70% a week, which is refreshing and very exciting. UK Online, as a younger subsidiary, has grown 59% in the past 3 months alone, flattened out 13% a week. So great figures, and gives us a lot of energy and excitement. Business growth in total, online and offline, for the year is showing 20 points of growth. Bearing in mind that we've been setting up this operation as much as running and selling, to achieve that whilst we're in still within a fairly formative part of the business, I'm very happy about, and that leads me to believe there's plenty in the tank in terms of the marketplace. For financial year 23, our forecast is 100% growth on prior year, and by all things considered at the moment, we're likely to surpass that. So now moving on to Better Nature, the other subsidiary within Netura. Better Nature is providing health professionals with naturally sourced relief for everyday aches and pains in the clinic and at home. It's Australian made, it's evidence-based, it's 100% naturally sourced. And what's key for Better Nature is the working together partnership piece, because Better Nature is by design working with healthcare professionals, physiotherapists and the like, and really concentrating on that market directly. Partnerships are all essential. So what are the foundations of Better Nature? Well, Better Nature has been in existence since 2018. Again, it's a homegrown, it's founded by an owner expert, a medic, a physician, and a physiotherapist himself. And so it offers a wide-reaching solution for mild muscle, bone and joint complaints and aches and so forth. So the vision of that company is to be the product of choice for healthcare professionals in Australia and beyond. The mission is to maximize the health and well-being of patients in the clinic at home. And the values are that this company is traditional medicine multiplied by modern science. And that combination is a USP piece for us that sets us well aside from the field. We're affordable coupled with high quality, which is a difficult balancing act, but Better Nature strives for that. we're integral. So we work with your body, your regime, and your health plan. We're not a standalone medicine. We want to be part of your program as a user of that product. Collaboration with experts and the supplier ecosystem's key for this type of product, and purity of ingredients, biodiversity, and technology. So we're highly qualitative. In terms of the future, products serve ubiquitous need worldwide. So, muscle, skin complaints, aches and pains. We believe there's no better product. We think we can validate that scientifically in every other way. So it's a truly unique value proposition that we have. In terms of growth, it's a direct-to-consumer turnkey model that we have. And we've got the system in place already for that. So we have a backstage customer extranet that provides latest news, launches, discounts, offers. Customers can place orders directly. Superb system, and we've rolled that out. We target the HCP, so the healthcare professional audience directly, including the Australian Physiotherapy Association. And we attend all HCP events and trade fairs. We're growing out that D2C model for our other subsidiaries. So that means that that's something that we can use for Itchy Baby and the other subsidiaries that we are looking to take on board over time. So each subsidiary has certain core competencies and strengths. We can then cross-populate to the others where appropriate. And likewise, Better Nature itself can piggyback on the Itchy Baby team for entry into the UK and Europe. So they're fairly adjacent, fairly complementary products. There's no cannibalization between the products, and we can use both companies to help drive our Netura business forward. On message, we're 100% natural, vegan, sustainable, and our unique selling point and value proposition here is broad efficacy action. Our product does a lot more for a lot more people in more ways than our competitors do, and that's where our USP is bound up. Assets, the IP team, office distribution, Salesforce marketing, all of the value chain requirements are already. And in terms of a track record, we have form. We've got great online traction already. USA is launched. Asia is near launch, and we're closing at present. It's a shame we can't mention the name because it's a very big player in the market, but with an Australia-wide distributor. So the support that the Netura Group has, we can't do it all. We're a small company, and we've got a coterie of excellent organizations around us, from Google Ads to Facebook advertising, TikTok, Instagram, our web requirements, so keeping our platforms present. And we've got a range of suppliers all around the world, but not only the support we get, but the support we give. So our support network is not just one way, it's also the support that we give out to Save the Children, the Eczema Association, and of course the great support we get from the Australian MAID initiative. Any small company needs a great support network around it, and we have that in place, and we'll continue to make sure that our business is protected with that support network. And then in terms of partners, well, the big recent news is the IGA Grocery Group, which we have now landed, 200 stores plus, as I say, many more to come, already signed off. But we're also trading in a host of different retailers, online, marketplace, offline, and the ones grayed out in terms of Coles, Boots, and Woolworths to the bottom left are those which are in deep discussion and or being close to being signed. So we are an organization that is already trading and it's already working well for us. We are not a punt, but we have a track record. So the next steps for your investment. Well, we'll gain feedback from today. The Q&A is essential for us to learn. This is a dynamic business, and we want to make sure that we come out of it better today than we went into it. Adjust and improve our campaign as it stands at the moment in terms of investment. Launch the campaign post expression of interest. Leverage the campaign whilst we operate the current business. So we're not an organization that runs around focusing on one thing and then another. We make sure that we run our business concurrently, and that's will give you confidence in how we operate. We'll provide investor packs and detailed terms and conditions probably mid-October, and then the raise closes, the funds are received, and the first thing we will do post that is embark on a 60-point growth plan to take us to financial year 2024. We have a 5-year business plan already sketched out, but we have a very detailed 1 to 2 year prognosis for where we want to go, and we will embark on that. We'll publish FY23 growth milestones to investors along the way, so we're looking forward to being communicative with our investors. We'll build the FY24 business plan in April 23. We'll sign off that plan in May 23, and then give the investors again an update on that 60-point growth plan. And of course, we don't have a monopoly on common sense and knowledge, so we're looking forward to our investors helping us with how the future looks and being involved in that. And then we'll present the year-end forecast for financial year 23 in June. So that's a quick presentation on who we are, what we do, and how we do it. So some context, and I'm looking forward to us taking some questions very shortly. So it just leaves me to say thank you for attending this part of the presentation, and look forward to speaking to some of you and taking your questions very shortly. Over to you, Martin.
Thanks a lot, Oliver. That was great, and congrats to you and the team for the amazing traction so far. I think, from Birchal's perspective, we love hosting these sort of offers. And I think, this is an industry and a trend that we've definitely seen a lot of interest in recently. And, this is why for the investors that are considering coming on board, you have the chance now to back Netura. And if you like what they're doing, make it more of a reality and allow them to grow and scale. So over to the questions now, and I will, just again, invite everyone who's on the call now, feel free to chuck your questions in whenever you have them into the Q&A panel down there. It's open to you to do that. I've got some questions that came through before for people who are apologies not to make. So I'll get started on those, but whenever you have a question, please feel free to pop it in there. So first question off the bat. So looking at the details on your Birchal page now, we're talking about a Netura Group, obviously owning the 2 brands, Itchy Baby and Better Nature. But in terms of potential, further brands to add to that umbrella, just want to hear some thoughts about any ideas about particular categories that the team's interested in, or anything that's on the radar there.
Yeah, happy to talk about that. And that's an exciting part of the business. And that part of the business is going to be headed up largely by our chairman, Peter Harford. He's going to be driving that. It's got some strong track record in that part of the business, but I'm happy to hand over to Pete shortly. My views on that are that we're keen to take on organizations that have similar DNA characteristics to Better Nature and Itchy Baby. That's point number 1, because it makes sense to populate a bullseye with like-minded companies. In that respect, I quite like the brand owner who's homegrown and developed that with a real expertise at core, because I think that's a key USP for what we do, is people who are passionate and engaged and driven to start their companies and drive something through a market demand and a homegrown market demand. That's surely the purest way of starting a business and driving a business well. And then in terms of timescales, it'll be an opportunist piece. So we will look at that as of today. If the opportunity arises, we will look at the opportunity at any given time, and we will run the business concurrently. So regardless of what we're doing, if we feel that there is an opportunity to be had, we will go after that. There isn't a time scale where we will or won't do that. So I'd say adjacency, companies that have a certain core philosophy that we think provides opportunity, and time is always of the essence, and we're opportunists, so we would look at that at any given time. Peter, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, you're pretty much nailed on the head. What we quite regularly get approached by inventors, people who've created great products and haven't been able to commercialise it yet. And I think what they see in us is that we have the in-house ability to take a business from a product to a business. So things like positioning it, looking for channels, etc., etc. And we're gaining a bit of a reputation. One of our directors, Maud, I think, is well connected to all the universities and incubators in Western Australia. So we have no shortage. After saying that, we're currently in a deep phase, not a wide phase. So we have 2 brands that Oliver's taken us through that have significant revenue capacity. And for the immediate future, it'll be all about driving revenues and depth of those brands. And whilst we do that, looking at the next horizontal opportunity one, just as an example, one that's been playing on our minds for some time now is some form of veterinary products. So if you look at Itchy Baby Co, with its ability to treat skin, dogs have that as a common affliction. And likewise, I was at a conference in Melbourne on the weekend with Better Nature, and someone said, "Oh, can I use it on my dog?" So if you look at within that IP of the product we've got at the moment, that would be quite a simple exercise of creating a brand, slightly reformulating, and then commercialising that.
Awesome. Thanks for those answers, team. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think, you know, at Birchal, we do see a lot of businesses come through that have developed amazing products, and their next challenge is scaling and distribution. So, you know, Netura is obviously becoming experts in that field with what you're doing now. That's obviously a very clear proposition to those founders in terms of why they join you and how you could help their businesses grow. Another question just in terms of expansion, because, you know, we're talking about investment here and how you're going to use this money to grow the business. So Oliver, you did touch on some markets that you're interested in, but, you know, one thing that jumped out at us during that presentation was to be, you know, worldwide in 5 years. So could you just talk us through sort of where the global expansion is at the moment, the markets that you're most particularly interested in, and then maybe a little bit on how you're going to get to that, you know, 5-year goal of, you know, worldwide distribution?
Yeah. So let me talk about the hero market. So the hero market's obviously Australia, because it's a home game, and we have great provenance there. And then the UK, because it's a stepping stone into Europe and this area of the world. And in terms of the hero markets, it's really about their attributes. You know, how closely do they fit the business model that we're already operating? Well, I've operated personally in Denmark, Holland, Belgium, France, Italy, Spain, the UK for sure, Switzerland, and the list goes on. And I see our business model as immediately transferable to any of those markets. And here's why. First of all, the demand is ubiquitous for what we do. It's the same demand everywhere. We can very closely calculate what piece of that market we can have. We know the market size. It's quite a developed market. We know what we're capable of. So we can make a very quick calculation about what piece of their GDP we can grab. And then it's about, do we have the facility to roll that out? Well, we do, because we have all of our value chain pieces in place. If I meet a business partner that can open for me in Denmark tomorrow, I can provide the goods for that individual. And that brings me on to the channel point of view. That could be an agent, it could be a distributor, it could be a wholesaler, it could be direct to consumer. Would make any difference to us whatsoever. Our messaging is going to be the same. The messaging about, you know, children, sleepless nights, and itchy skin and so forth is not specific to any nation. It's as I say, it's a ubiquitous demand. So we will be, first of all, structured. We'll go into the markets that we have contacts in, that the retailers we're dealing with have shares in companies or themselves have branches there. So we'll go down the channels that already exist. We'll then be opportunist about what comes up, and what we can provide for. And given the world stage of marketplaces and online trading, shipping possibilities and so forth, I think every company in their right mind that's in consumables that has a ubiquitous offer to satisfy ubiquitous demand should be aiming to be marketplace, click or brick, should be aiming to be in every single country worldwide, be it direct, third party, retail, wholesale, agent, or distribution. There's no reason why you can't be, and then it's just down to how robust your organization is and how much endeavor and energy you have. So you can see that I'm already there in my mind, and the organization will no doubt follow.
Thanks for that, Oliver. Yeah, great to hear that. And, you know, exciting times. It seems that you've got a very nuanced sort of strategy to this, but, you know, I think you need that when you're going after the world market. We do have a question that's come through here from Dana. So thanks for your question, Dana. So first of all, she wants to give a shout out to the Better Nature team. She's a big fan. She's just asking about what are the investment amount options? So I can answer that one. So Dana, when it comes to the offer going live in about 11 days time is when the offer will go live, you'll be able to go into the Birchal website and invest. In terms of the options, what we tend to see is a minimum investment amount of $250, and then you can go anywhere up to $250,000 if you so please. What we just say in terms of a caveat to that is any investor that's thinking about investing more than $10,000 will need a sophisticated investor certificate. So we'll have some details on this on our website, as well as the Netura team. I'm sure we'll be able to follow up with anyone who's interested in investing more than 10,000 with the details. It's basically something you can get from your accountant and they can help certify that. But essentially the only other limitation with that is we can only issue whole shares through the Birchal platform. So once the team has finalized their final share price and they've got all that settled in, you'll understand what the exact splits, but usually it's anywhere up from $250 to $250,000 in terms of how much you can invest. Perfect. Alrighty, so moving on to another question now. So one thing also during that presentation that jumped out was some really exciting growth from the Itchy Baby team. And so I think we had, was it 840% growth on one of the charts there, which is amazing. So maybe just throw to you now, Joe, in terms of, what's been driving that growth with Itchy Baby and, some sort of new products I think have been launched. So two questions there. What's driving that growth and what new products have just hit the market?
Yeah, definitely. One of the big things that we look at is the product pipeline. And for us, a couple of years ago when we took over the business, what we had was a really successful, well-regarded, trusted brand of products that centered really around eczema. And one of the things we looked at was how do we transfer that trust, that expertise, that sort of science-backed nature of it into the broader baby, toddler, child market. And the idea behind that is, the products can solve what is a really, really serious skin issue, which is eczema. Can we leverage that and can we grow that into the broader market? So two of the products we brought out recently have been the natural sunscreen, which very quickly actually moved to becoming our best-selling product. And also recently, just a few months ago, we released our natural shampoo and body wash. So those products present a shift from our core base of products, which are very centered around eczema, and that's where we really see the product pipeline moving forward as well. So things like insect repellent, laundry detergent, anything that follows, as Oliver said before, that DNA, but it's all around products that you can use on sensitive skin. So we're seeing a lot of growth online with those new products. The take-up's been fantastic, and it's really given us a lot of confidence to go out and get these new products made. So things like the natural nappy balm as well. The formulation's finished. We're about to manufacture and launch that as well. So that's sort of where we're seeing the growth, the take-up of these new products, and bringing in customers that perhaps we haven't reached before. So perhaps their child doesn't have severe eczema, but they're coming in via the sunscreen and they're seeing, wow, these products are trusted for this. So I'm going to trust it as well on my child. So I hope that answers the question. That's sort of where we're seeing the growth at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Martin, if I can just add a little something to that, if I may, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
It's also about getting better at what we do. It's also about continuous improvement. We're getting better at trading online. We're getting better at communicating our message, and we should be. And I think that it's probably a multiplier effect of what's coming down the pipeline, as Joe correctly says, and that's the primary driver. But it's also about a continuous improvement internally and making sure that our internal clienteling and our external clienteling, so our customer service journey, is improving. We're not just looking for one-off demand, we're looking for repeat business here. So I'd say it's a multitude of factors led by product and also by continuous improvement.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. And yeah, I mean, in terms of the starting point with eczema and then, moving to new products, it's a clear sort of problem you've solved there and you've got credibility there. And shout out to a member from the marketing team of Glide, who actually is working with Netura. And then, he came to us with the story of his son, his young baby who had eczema, and just how much of a troubling time that was for, him and his partner as parents. And, he said he tried all these different products, and then Itchy Baby was the one that worked in the end. And I think it was a massive relief and a huge change in his partner's lifestyle, having a baby that can go to sleep and not be crying all night. But yeah, developing that credibility there and then moving to other products makes total sense. So that's really exciting times. We do have another question that's come in around valuation. So thanks for that question. I'll just jump in and give a bit of information around this. So at the moment, we're in the expression of interest phase with Netura's offer, which means we don't have an offer document live at the moment. So in terms of the valuation, you will be getting that very shortly, within 11 days, once their offer goes live. It's generally not something we want to sort of advertise right now, because this is a sort of an area for companies that they're potentially putting a bit more thought into at the moment. So I'll leave the answer there from our end. But if anyone from the Netura team wants to add some more color to that without sort of going into specifics, you're more than welcome to now. That's all good. Yeah. So thanks for that question. And like I said, once the offer's live in 11 days, everyone who's an expression of interest who's signed up will have access to that offer document as soon as it's ready. And you'll be able to see all the details there: company valuation, share price, financials, everything like that, all the detailed financials. So thanks again for that question. Great. So now, I guess, another question that's come in beforehand. So in terms of a common sort of, line that we've seen on the Netura's Birchal page, as well as the website, is this quality by design, line. And one of the questions around that was just a little bit more explanation about what exactly that means and how that kind of factors into your products and how you develop your products.
I think I'm going to volunteer Joe Dale on this, the quality by design. I'd like Joe to talk a little bit to our collected friends about that. So Joe, if you can dive in and talk a little bit to us on that topic, please.
Yeah, so quality by design, what it really centers around is, the products, when we build out these formulations, we put a lot of thought, care and research into it. So we've got a strong product development team, and we've also got strong contacts, as Pete mentioned earlier, into the sort of ingredient space, specifically in Western Australia as well. So what we always ensure is that the products, the ingredients within the products are always of the highest quality. So we're not the cheapest product in the market, but that's because we get the best ingredients. And so the products are really formed around that ethos, which is taking the time before we bring them to market, testing them, getting feedback, making sure it's all working correctly, and then releasing to the market. So that's sort of a bit of an understanding around that concept.
Perfect.
And I just wanted to add to that, Martin, if I can. A lot of the people in the marketplace, a lot of our competitors will what we call shopping list a product. So they will say, we're going to produce a product. It needs to have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in. We can throw in some different supporting products or ingredients to that, and that's the product that goes to marketplace. What we try and do is say, look, what's the issue here? What ingredients would be best designed to solve that issue, whether they're within a usual gamut or remit or not. And we've got the technical scientific know-how in-house to do that, and to do that uniquely.
Great. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and just from a Better Nature point of view, if Lauren was here, what she'd be saying is that the reason that Better Nature targets healthcare professionals and not mum and dad in the street is because of the quality of the product. And the healthcare professionals have the training and the knowledge to appreciate the quality and the effectiveness of the products, and then they espouse the virtues to their patients. So that's how we get into the retail side of things.
Thanks for that, Peter. And just on that point, actually, another question that came through was around this quite unique distribution model for Better Nature, like you say, going after the healthcare professionals, the physiotherapists out there. And, in the presentation, we heard about an extranet, or like a platform that you've developed to do that. But the question was around, how that distribution channel works. You've answered it a little bit there, but can you maybe talk us through some of the further details about that, please?
Yeah, well, what Lauren's done, her team's done very effectively, in my view, was over the last 18 months created an online community of healthcare professionals. And we were both in Melbourne over the weekend at a physiotherapist conference. And the physios are very connected into our products because of the quality But what we've identified, we did some research, or we got some research from IBIS World about 18 months ago on that sector in Australia. And what it showed was that it's a highly fragmented sector. And actually, I haven't seen one that's more fragmented. So the physio, osteo, chiro sector in Australia is very fragmented, and there's a whole lot of small practitioners. So there's a lot of small business people. So what Lauren and the team have done, they said, well, yes, we need great product for them, but let's also understand the other aspect of their persona. And a lot of them are small business people. So how can we connect there? And what she's done is she's collaborated with a business coach who I knew actually from my days in London, who had created a whole library of 5-minute video coaching tips. And what they've done is they've put together a platform that's available to our HCPs alongside a very detailed library of the science of the products. There's now a library of, well, now here's how you can grow your business. Here's how you can enhance your productivity. Here's how you can sales and market. Here's how you can grow it. Here's how you can be a leader. Because a lot of those, our clients started off as sole practitioners, and now they've got 3 or 4 staff. And that's early days. We've had a fantastic energetic connection back to the brand on that, because not only do they come to us with great product, but also we understand them and have a resource of tools to help them grow their business.
Yeah, awesome. And
so Martin, that comes back to our values of philanthropy and partnership. It's not just a marketing value chain, brand value piece to do that work. It's about caring about what you do. It's about appropriating your company resources and profits to building the partnership and building the service from a delivery point of view, from a requirement and from a responsibility point of view to your partners. And that's as we demonstrated, fundamental to the vision, mission, and values of the across the 3 companies.
Yeah, awesome. It sounds like you're building a great foundation there, and the physiotherapist and the healthcare provider market very well. My partner's a very keen runner, and she trusts her physio, I think, more than anyone in the world. So I think once you build that trust with the physios, the retail and the consumer side of things will be a very solid next step. So great work there, and shout out to Lauren, who again couldn't make it today, but she's very much a big part of this campaign and a big part of the team. Just moving a bit more broadly now, another question we have around, just the campaign more generally. So obviously, equity crowdfunding for us now, and, especially at Birchal, it's something that we're familiar with, but for a lot of people, it's a new way of raising funds. So just a question around why Netura chose this avenue in terms of raising funds, and just the goals about what you're trying to get out of it.
I could probably handle that one because I've been here for a while. So we've funded the business today ourselves. So there were a group of us who were involved in a previous venture that had a fair bit of success, and good cash was made. And then a lot of those people were family and friends. And then we said, okay, that went well, let's sort of another project. So we got into the healthcare sector, the national healthcare sector, back in 2019, 18, 19. And to date, we've funded ourselves, but then we thought, well, we can continue to fund ourselves, or we could look at crowdfunding with 2 purposes. One is for the next layer of capital to grow, but more importantly, to help create a tribe and have brand advocacy running around in the marketplace. So for us, this is actually about getting numerically a lot of shareholders, not necessarily putting in huge amounts, but actually getting a whole lot of people who are connected to the story out promoting and being part of the journey.
Yeah. And I wanted to add to that, if I could very quickly, Peter mentioned the word tribe, community. When you've got a tribe and a community that you can talk to, you get a lot of intel back. You don't have to rely on the monopoly of your own common sense and your own understanding in business. Pilot groups, focus groups, people we can bounce ideas off and run by. We want to engage. We want to take our company out of the 4 walls, and we want to take it into the community. And we're very keen to drive this engagement piece. Our product is very personal product. It goes on skin. It goes on people's children. It goes on scalps and so forth. So it's very important that we stay heavily in touch with what we're doing. And not get stuck in an ivory tower somewhere. And crowdfunding is the ultimate way to stay in touch with your tribe and your community, and to be hearing what's going on in the marketplace, and to hear it with no punches pulled, and that's what excites us about the crowdfunding piece.
Thanks for that, Oliver and Peter. Yeah, I mean, it's great to hear that you're taking that approach, and like it's probably just something to keep in mind for the investors out there, potential investors out there, in terms of that collaboration that this company is seeking. And if you're interested in being involved in that collaboration moving forward, and you care about these products, then that's definitely a big incentive. And from our perspective at Birchal, when we see the win-win of equity crowdfunding, it's putting together strong businesses with their community. And not only do you obviously raise the funds that you need to grow and take the business forward, but then you have this large community of people who want your business to succeed. So it's great to hear that you've got that in your plans, and we hope we can make that happen for you. So just another question we got here, and we've touched a bit on distribution, but and in the presentation as well, I think there's probably a few big targets there in terms of the Australian market. You've mentioned Coles and Woolies and a few others. I know this is a bit of nuance to it, but potentially, can you talk us through, how you're approaching some of these bigger distributors in terms of, getting onto their stock lists, and just how those conversations are going?
Yeah, absolutely. I can jump in on that point. So we work really closely with some fantastic distributors here in Australia. So Caddick across the East Coast, Perth Health in WA. And Complete Health in Queensland. So we work very closely with them. They're all big believers in the brand, and we view all these relationships, not from a transactional nature, but actually, we're building something together here. So the IGA was obviously, really great for the business. We've also got conversations coming up, as I mentioned, with Coles and Woolworths. So those sort of things are evolving, and what often happens is, as people hear more and more about the brand, which is amazing how many times we've gone into this meeting and somebody in the meeting says, "Oh, I use Itchy Baby," or "My child, my friend uses Itchy Baby, my family member uses Itchy Baby." So it's really great to see that sort of word of mouth is growing. In the UK, obviously, it's slightly different. We're a new brand. We're trying to sort of go up against the big boys, and grow sort of that way. We've got a great partner here. His name's David. He has a lot of experience in this sector over sort of 40 to 50 years. So we've basically been going out talking to these, bigger retailers. So Waitrose, John Lewis, Boots. They're all really excited about the brand. Boots especially is a lot further down the line. So it's really about sharing the story of what we're trying to do, similar to this webinar. And so far the responses have been really, really promising, especially in the UK.
I'm going to add to that. So Joe's talked about the product attributes and the demand out there for for what it is that we offer. When they talk to us about customer service journey, when they talk to us about next generation customer service, when they talk to us about the value chain and the 11 key elements of the value chain, when they talk to us about the marketing mix and the positioning and so forth, these are things that when you're dealing B2B, they want to know. Your buyers of Boots and so forth want to talk to you about margins. They want to talk to you about promotional campaigns. They want to know that there is the business rigor behind what you're doing, as well as the product attributes and the demand in the marketplace. So in summary, we have the product. Number two, we know what people want and the market is out there for that product. And number three, the bit I just covered now, is we're able to deliver it. We're able to deliver it in a cohesive, coherent and consistent way, and as part of a campaign. And the buyers that we talk to, these B2B operators, they want to know about prognosis. They want to know about your business plan. They want to know what is it that they're replacing? What is it that's going off the shelf for you to come on the shelf? From a demand point of view, both products might be great, but from an infrastructure and from a know-how point of view, that's the piece that the other company might be missing, and that's the piece that we can offer them in spades.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Just a follow-up question on that in terms of distribution and companies that you're working with is the question of Amazon. And we know that Amazon can be a world unto itself in certain markets, particularly the US. So just a question was around, what markets is Amazon particularly important in? And, how does that look in terms of getting your products in to Amazon in those markets?
Well, I think everyone will have... everybody would have an opinion on that, and I'd invite everyone here to offer that. I can speak for myself from a buyer point of view. Someone goes on Amazon and buys stuff, and having dealt with Amazon now for the past what 10 to 15 years. Look, for me, it's about providing the customer with choice, and it's about providing the customer with a purchase opportunity. So Amazon is a platform that does that, and does that particularly well. In which country is it important? It's important in a country that says, we've got an Amazon platform, we'd like to trade your products. That's where it's important. So I think that's a real opportunist piece for getting our product communicated and out to the customers. Now, what I like about Amazon's development is that their messaging, their service delivery, their fulfillment, their understanding of marketing and brand value has increased dramatically over the last decade. We're trading with Amazon in Australia already. The UK is weeks away from going live. And then, as I say, will we target specific Amazons in specific countries? Not necessarily. We will look at the routes to market in the countries that are North Europe, particularly to start with, just from a proximity point of view. If the Amazon opportunity presents itself there, we will go after it. In Holland, for example, it's bol.com. That's the big platform there particularly. So in certain countries, still Amazon has some serious competitors. But for me, it's about getting the offer out to the customer and in front of the customer, and we'll be opportunist about that, and also adhere to the local market, as I say, the Dutch example with bol.com. So that's kind of our piece on Amazon from my point of view. I don't know if anyone else on the panel wants to join in.
That's pretty well said.
Okay.
Yeah, Ollie.
Thanks for that, Ollie. You covered that very well. So just getting towards the end of the webinar here, and thanks everyone for your questions so far and for sticking around. If you do have any final questions, feel free to chuck them in. We do have one more here to go to, and then I might just throw to the Netura team for some final comments and anything else they wanted to pass on. So the final question from our end, at least, was around this unique proposition you have in terms of combining natural medicine with modern science. And that's something that definitely from the Birchal team jumped out to us as something quite unique about your company and your offer. So I just want a little bit more detail about, how that actually works. And I know you've got some very experienced people in your team who, bring that scientific and that natural medicine background. But yeah, just a little bit more about, what that looks like practically, and how you can kind of, achieve that moving forward if you're adding more brands to your company.
I'd like to hear Joe and/or Peter talk about that respectively for their constituent parts of the business. Guys, over to you.
Yeah, well, the person that should be on the call to answer that one is Dr. Maud Eppenboom, who sits on our board and has consulted to us for 2.5 years now. So Maud's Dutch. She was head of Bayer Pain in Germany. So she's got a lot of life science, big pharma background. She married an Aussie who swept her off her feet and ended up out in Perth. And she tells the story that she rocked up in Perth, looked around and said, well, where's the pharmaceutical industry in Western Australia? And of course there wasn't, because everyone was digging up iron ore. So she's been on a bit of a mission because of her, she's highly qualified, had a lot of experience in Europe. She could see a big opportunity here because, as she always talks about, Western Australia is one of the, I think, 14 biodiversity hotspots in Australia. She tells a story that, there's something like 20,000 sponges off the West Australian coast that have never been tested for their properties. She talks about, that's a gold mine. So she's the one that has she has the scientific background, but also she has a big connection into the natural ingredients. She's actually well connected into the Indigenous groups within Western Australia, and she sees that as the way beyond the current wave that we're experiencing. So she sees Indigenous natural healthcare products as the next wave that'll come after this one. So it's really been her influence in terms of her scientific background, but also her connection and understanding of natural ingredients and the opportunity that they present.
I just want to add something quickly to that, and that's that we have to hat tip our founders, the founders of both Better Nature and Itchy Baby, who have been scientists themselves in their own field, a pharmacist and a medic, and have been applying their tinctures, their inventions to their own children's skin. You're not going to have a purer DNA, you're not going to have a purer MO and approach than someone who's A, qualified to do it, and B, trying it out on their own children. I think that that's where the coupling of modern science and natural ingredients was born, and that's at the very heart of what we do. We can then expand it with Dr. Maud's know-how, and she's very much involved with and qualified to look at the market as a whole. The DNA comes from being qualified to produce something and putting it on your own children's skin. You can't get a better mixture of qualification, science, and natural ingredients, and that's what's at the very heart and core of what we do, and that itself makes us unique from almost everybody else in the marketplace. Joe, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add to that.
No, I think that was excellent.
Perfect. We did have one final question come through. Thanks for that, Jamie. So we have talked a lot about markets and distribution, but Jamie is particularly interested in the Asian market. So can you add any further details to that about any plans to take on the Asian market in terms of the two brands?
Well, I can jump into that one. So we actually had a significant distribution relationship set up in late 2019 that was all signed up, which was an 8 Asian country distribution agreement, including mainland China, with a massive, with the health division of a massive Asian conglomerate. We had shipped our first stock of both brands to Hong Kong, and the plan was to do Hong Kong, Macau as a test, iron out any bugs and move into on mainland China. So huge opportunity for us and huge potential. And then about that time, the Prime Minister at the time upset the Chinese government, and that was just cut. We couldn't do it anymore. That channel was closed. And really through COVID, we haven't been able to do anything since then. I mean, that opportunity is still open to us. So it's just really a matter of the political climate, and we've got a very close relationship with them through our representative in Hong Kong. We are looking at Southeast Asia. So there's a platform that's launching into Singapore called Origin Plus, which we will be on, and that launches there later this quarter. So we have now, having spent really during COVID looking at the UK and focusing on the UK, we're now turning to Asia because we can get there pretty quickly, good time zones. But that's only probably the last 6 months where we've been slowly heading in that direction. We did a cold test in the Singapore HCP market about a month ago. So we set out an absolutely stone cold email campaign to 130 HCPs, offering them our trial pack. And we had a 5% take-up rate, which we were astounded by, that they didn't know us, we didn't know them. And the feedback that came back with comments like, "Oh, fantastic, I really struggle to get good product in this market." We've also got an introduction through the party in Australia that we're just concluding a distribution agreement with, to their sister company in New Zealand, and that will also be another market that we're moving into early in the new year for Better Nature.
And just to thank you, Peter, and just to add to that, my previous work at a skincare company at Amouage, which is fragrance, bath, body, and home, had 600 points of sale, active points of sale across Asia alone. And so we have a considerable black book for that area of the market. We also have some know-how in respect of how to approach and what works. And again, because of the ubiquity of what we offer in terms of skin relief and pain relief, skin issue relief and pain relief, those factors together mean that we can put all that together. And Asia's absolutely fair game for us. And as Peter says, it's what we're heavily focused on now, in and amongst other parts of the plan.
Thanks for that, Oliver. Thanks for that, Peter. So yeah, great to hear your plans for the Asian market. Obviously, we know that Australian healthcare products and companies have had a great sort of recent history about expanding to the Asian market. So, exciting times there for you all. So now that we're coming to the end of the time here with our webinar, Just wanted to throw over now to the Netura team for any last messages to potential investors, anything you wanted to pass on about your offer in particular. After this call, we're going to be sharing around the recording for everyone. So there'll be a time for that. And also once your offer goes live, there'll be a time to ask questions directly to the Netura team. But just wanted to throw now to the team for any final comments to your potential investors.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, to thank everyone for attending this. You all get to choose what you do with your hour, so to choose to spend it with us is greatly appreciated. I wanted to just sum up by saying we have a $1.5 trillion market. We have a product range that has track record and is the best out there across both companies. And we have the internal know-how to connect the one with the other. It's an exciting and fun team as well. The topic is a hot topic. It's a sexy topic. The team's highly capable and small, quite dexterous. So it's going to be a fun and exciting space to be in. And we're looking forward to welcoming our tribe and our community, our new tribe and community, introducing you to our current tribe and community, and working through, chewing through all of that fun stuff together. So that's my parting piece.
Thanks for that, Oliver. And thanks for that to the Netura team as well. It's been a great hour here spent. We've covered a lot of ground. It's an exciting business. It's a complex business. There's lots to talk about. But you guys answer all the questions, with great detail. And I think, everyone who's been here has got a lot out of it, as well as, your wider group of expression of interests. They're also going to receive this recording. And I think that will provide a little bit more color to this offer too. I'll just wrap up by saying that, this campaign has about 11 days to go now. So by all means, please feel free to share this around with friends, family members that you think might be interested in this. Again, you'll have this webinar recording, and once the campaign goes live, we'll have much more details. Once it goes live, we look at about a 16-day offer period in terms of how long it's open for. But yourself and anyone else who joins as an early investor in this expression of interest phase will get early access to the offer document and all the details that comes with this campaign, as well as being able to ask direct questions to the Netura team. So I'll encourage you, if you do know anyone that is interested or might be interested, to please share the details of this campaign, because as you've heard here today, it's an exciting opportunity, and Netura are inviting a community to join them on this next phase of their business. So thanks for everyone who's attended, and thanks once more to the Netura team. It's been a great hour, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.